Good afternoon. You're listening to the new WCEG network on WCEGTalkRadio.com. Click Livestream tab or watch us live on your smart TV, YouTube at WCEG Network. I am Celeste Giordano with Celeste Giordano Coaching, your show host, along with Sara Poe with Poe's Accounting Service as my co-host, and we are with the Global Legacy and Wealth Building for the next hour. We're the worldwide community empowerment group where we speak life into the community. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and on Instagram at WCEG_talk_radio and at WCEG Network. And last but not least, our disclaimer, the topics and opinions are those of the show host and guest and not WCEG Network. Thank you for your continued support. And we are so grateful to be here. Hello, Sara. How are you?
Hey, welcome back. I'm excited.
I know it's been a long summer, and we had a little hiatus here, the WCEG network, and we are most grateful, privileged, and honored to serve the WCEG network. And I am just fired up and ready to go for our fall series.
Oh, I know it. And I got to go to the beach, and so my soul's happy.
All right. Well, that is positive. And we have a great lineup for us this fall, Sara. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the real estate, past, present, and future, as well as the importance of staging your home. We have two amazing guests with us tonight. We have a con agent with eXp Realty, and we have Tracee Randall, your finishing touches, who's a, who is a home stager in real estate, investor. Thank you. I am tongue twisted this afternoon. But, welcome, Tracee. Welcome, Jamie. We are glad to have you with us today. This is going to be a great hour because we have definitely, this year in the pandemic and coming out of the pandemic, we have really seen some amazing real estate buys, and we've seen it very hot. We've seen it warm. We've seen it cold. So we're excited to learn from both of you today on all about the real estate investment right now and the best thing that what people want to do past, present, and future. So Sara, I just want to say thank you for being my co-host. And I also wanted to congratulate Sara with the Gwinnett Chamber. She's nominated for, is it small business, Sara?
Support small businesses. So I'm like your support team, right?
You're right.
So that's what they consider us, is like your support team. And that's a good analogy.
It is. It is. And we are very grateful and congratulations on that nomination. And also want to nominate you as my co-founder with Women of Community Impact, that we have been nominated for with the small business through the Gwinnett Chamber. So that's very, very positive for both of us on that end.
Yes, and I do believe you've been nominated as well. That's awesome. It's good to get out there and get people to get to know you a little bit better, these awards things and all that. And I think you were also a finalist in the Moxie Awards, correct?
I was. Thank you very much. Yes, it was an honor and a privilege for that. So without any further ado, and Sara, what I'd like to do is I'm going to say a few things about Tracee Randall, your finishing touches. You and I both know Tracee Randall from back in networking days when you and I first met back in 2013, whatever it was. And we were attending some Experience Connections networking is how we first were introduced to Tracee, as well as with in some financial securities work as well. And we also had Tracee as one of our guest experts last year, or I don't know if it was last year or this year, Tracee, with Experience Connection when we did a segment on networking. So Tracee, do us a favor. We would love for you to tell us a little bit about yourself for our audience and any links of how our audience can get a hold of you.
Well, thank you so much, ladies. It's so wonderful to be a guest today. It's great to see both of you back and in full force. Congratulations on all your accolades. You're amazing ladies. Everyone knows that. And I feel very honored to be asked to speak on real estate today. Just a little background, I got involved in real estate about 4 years ago now. Actually, Celeste, I was with my business partner, Carol, with Atlanta Business Spotlight. The way I got involved in real estate is we were doing a big event that we're educating women on how they could make some money. Women, I have a lot of single women in our network and a lot of stay-at-home moms that want extra income. So we had some guest speakers in, and one of the guest speakers was an expert on real estate and very successful here in the Atlanta market. And he challenged me to go drive through downtown Atlanta with him and let me hear what was happening. And I was fascinated, blown away, had never been interested in real estate, but I thought, I'm going to flip me a house. And about 15 houses later, we've done lots of flips. I've got business partners all over the world and country that partner with me on my flips. And I got involved with staging after our first flip. The investor that I was partnered with said, okay, so, I was the only person local. The other investors are out of the state or out of the country. And he said, you need to find a good stager. And I'm like, what's that? And they said, they're going to make it all pretty. And I said, okay. So I went out, found one, and she did a great job. And we were getting in the car. My husband said, oh, Tracee, you could do that. And he eats his words every day because he's part of my crew. But I do love it. It's so much fun. I've staged all the houses I flipped. And then I got involved in staging for other investors because I understand the investor and the dilemma they're going through in that process. It's never as easy as it looks.
Right.
And then just, through promotion on Facebook and through word of mouth, real estate agents began to call me. And I said, I love it so much. So that's what we do. I also project manage for real estate investors. So, I have my finger on the pulse of the Atlanta market through real estate agents all over the city, as well as investors and just people in real estate. So I've fallen in love with it and can't imagine doing anything else now.
Very good. And we're also very glad to have Jamie Parker, who's he's got over 14 years experience in helping clients buy, sell, or invest. So Jamie, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Sure. Glad to be on here today with two amazing ladies and also an amazing stager in Tracee. So glad to be part of y'all today. So basically my real estate journey actually stems back to when I bought one of my houses. Actually, I bought my one of my primary residents and was looking at the closing settlement statement. I was a school teacher at the time, and I was like, I saw how much money he made. I was like, man, he just sold one house and it takes me 4 months to make that much money. Something's wrong here. And so, long story short, a couple of years after that, he wanted to leave his brokerage and start his own thing, and ended up getting my real estate license and started out part-time while I was teaching. And until my side hustle became my main hustle. And I was still, even as a teacher, I was still top 25. I was at Solid Source Realty, top 25 agent there, then a top 5 agent at Keller Williams, even with a full-time job.
Wow.
And then decided if I could sell 20 something houses a year with a full-time job, what could I do if I didn't have a full-time job? So that's kind of my story. So I was in the public schools for 17 years and real estate for 7 of those 17 years. And haven't had a paycheck, so to speak, since 2012, 2013 school year. And I've been doing real estate ever since. And again, like Tracee, I cannot imagine doing anything else. It has opened up so many doors and opportunities and allowing me to do things that I just never would have thought I'd be able to do. And I just love seeing my clients win. And so that's what I love. I love seeing them get into their dream homes or sell their homes, or, just at the end of the day where it's a win-win for everybody and everyone's happy. So
absolutely, Jamie. And I'd like to congratulate you on being in the top 1% of the state of Georgia as an icon agent with eXp Realty. So congratulations, sir. And I know that Sarah and I both want to thank you, and I know Sarah will say some comments as well, is we have known both of you for a very long time, and we've worked with you in the networking industry. We've watched you guys grow and bloom and flourish. We've also worked with you in the nonprofit arena, where you both have dedicated your time and energy and money in supporting the nonprofits and different charities in your communities. And we want to thank you for making it that you do personally and professionally, as well as involving your children and bringing them up in good homes and Christian homes like you do. So congratulations on that to both of you. Sarah, any comments?
Thank you both. I mean, both of you are just amazing people. You got great kids. I love seeing Jamie and his kids on Facebook. There was a good one this week with you and your daughter. I think that that's awesome that you put your kids out there and you're teaching them how to do this as you go along. And Tracee, I didn't realize you'd flip that many houses. Good for you, girl. Go. I don't know if I could do that with everything else, but that's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. And you got to mention my 6 adorable grandchildren.
6? Wow, that's awesome.
Just kidding. Jamie,
I got
Jamie's
I got
kids are
3, and I can't imagine my life without them, you know?
I know,
It's
right?
fun because I spoil them and then send them home.
That's right.
And Tracee, I have thoroughly enjoyed following your links on Facebook and seeing the before and after pictures. It's phenomenal, the work that you're doing in the communities and the inner cities, everywhere that you are, and the transformations that you're making. So it's amazing. And before we dive into our interview and our questions, Sarah and I would definitely like to take this time to thank Penny Rogers and the board with WCEG Talk Radio. This is our 2nd year with WCEG Network. It's a privilege and an honor to be a host and a co-host with them. They're amazing individuals. They're a nonprofit that give and give and give. And we just thank you, Penny Rogers and the entire WCEG Network, our colleagues, for making a difference in the community. So thank you. So Sarah, I'm going to let you start us off with our guest here today.
Okay, great. So, Jamie, is now a good time to sell, buy? What's the market like these days?
The market, in my opinion, the market is good for everybody. And you're reading, but you're like, what do you mean the market's up like 20% year over year? But the market is good for everybody right now. And there's just so many different reasons why the market is good for everybody right now. Number one, if you want to sell your home, you know, you are, I know out here in Gwinnett County, we're not even talking Atlanta, figures are probably a little bit higher even in Atlanta, but out here in Gwinnett County, you're looking at on average of 102% of asking price right now, give or take. And we're talking, 9 to 12 to 13 days on the market, roughly. And we're talking over the averages of 50, 60, 100 sales a week, plus. So those are kind of your averages. So we're still seeing a very, very hot market. We're still seeing multiple offers, especially in the 300,000 to 400,000 range or anything below 400,000. If it's turnkey, you're going to get people fighting over it, even if it's not updated. I just had one that was listed for 289 and sold for 316. We had one that we listed for 350 and we sold it for 400 with 26 offers and 60 showings in one weekend. So we're still seeing that. So if you're selling your house, you're like, man, it's a great time. But you often say, well, if you sell high, you also buy high, right?
Right.
Yeah, but there's a but to that. And we're still at near historically low interest rates. So, we have people buying their homes on a 30-year at 2.3%, over the last year. I'm not saying that's where those rates are now. Let's hit up a disclaimer here, guys. Your rates are based on your credit score and your income and how much you're claiming on your taxes and your debt to income ratios. So just because it's possible, that may not be possible for you. It's everybody's situation is different. But we have had clients do 30 years as low as 2.3 over the last year on a 30-year. And so what does that really mean? It just means that house, maybe a year ago you qualified for 300,000, now you qualify for 425,000. and what your payment's going to be the same. So you're getting that much nicer of a house and with the exact same payment. So let me give you a little case study. So we had this earlier in the year where one of my past clients had realized how much their home had increased in value. They've been in their house maybe 4 years, maybe 5. It was either 4 or 5. And they realized they were sitting on probably close to 100,000 in equity on their house. One of them got a new job, needed to move in. So now it was gonna be a 40-minute commute as opposed to a few minutes that they had before. And so they decided to move, use the equity. So here's what they did. So I was like, well, don't put it all in your new house. Okay, don't put it all in your new house. So I said, do you have any student loans? Do you have any car payments? Do you have anything else going on with you that, and they were going to, their interest rate dropped. I think they were at like 3.6 or 3.7, and it dropped to like 2.7 on their new house. And then they were able to pay off their car, pay off their student loans, whatever. They paid off a whole bunch of stuff, still put over 10% down on their new house. They just didn't put it all down on the new house. They literally got a nicer house, closer to work, and added about close to $1,000 a month back into their budget.
That's amazing.
And so, yeah, were they the high sale in that neighborhood? Absolutely. Did we have a bidding war? Absolutely. Did we win? Absolutely. But yet they're happy campers. They got no car payment. They have 2 cars they own outright now, and now they're starting to invest for their future where they weren't able to do that before. They're starting to they got a financial planner. They're starting to invest. So that's why it's possible to do that. And the last part to your question is it a good time to invest? Tracee would be like, yes, it's a good time to invest. You can still find deals. Are they getting, in my opinion, are they getting a little bit harder to find? Yes.
Yeah.
I see them come across my computer every day, and I keep looking at them like, those numbers are a little bit too tight to warrant some of those prices as far as doing a flip. But there is a lot of great opportunity. I want to highlight some of the new construction opportunity. I'll go with the buy and hold opportunity. So if you can get in the first part of a neighborhood and say there's still plenty of neighborhoods in and around Atlanta, they're still being built for under 300,000, usually a townhome versus a single family. Put 25% down. And so say your mortgage payment is going to be somewhere about $1,300 a month, and you'll be able to rent that thing out for $2,000 a month. Now, that's about a 14% cash on cash investment. Plus on top of that, you're getting the appreciation. If you buy in the first phase of the neighborhood, the builder typically increases their prices every 3 to 6 homes. So say there's still 100 or 120 homes left to build, you're all going to get an automatic price increase. Plus you're going to get $700-800 a month profit on your rent, great cash on cash return, and great overall return as far as your overall investment. And there's no way, I mean, I have an investor that's all he does. All they do is go in, buy new construction, and rent it out, because you can get a much higher price when it's brand new to rent it out. Look around. Tracee's probably seen this. I know we have several of these in our neighborhood, in our area, where builders are literally building to rent. They're not building to sell. They are literally building entire communities, brand new, single family and townhomes, but they're rentals. They're not for sale. So as an individual investor, we can help people get into that part of the market as well.
Oh, I had no idea that they were doing that.
Yes.
And just as a side note, being a tax professional, if you are self-employed, they're going to look at your last 2 tax returns. So you need to plan for that ahead of time and be prepared for that. Just a little side note. I love my job too.
All right. Very good. So Tracee, why would a homeowner or real estate agent choose to stage their property in this hot buyer's market?
Well, so, Jamie, your information was just spot on, 100%. Love what you said. And is it true that, a lot of people think you can just slap your house on the MLS and it'll sell? And that's not true. You do need a very savvy real estate agent like Jamie. That's hugely important, whether you're listing your home or I really think that a buyer's agent is so just working their tails off, and you want to make sure you have someone with experience like Jamie. But that's a great question, and the way I can answer it is just from experience, Celeste. Over this past quarter of 2021, right? as a home stager, a lot of people thought, hey, I could just put it on the market, doesn't matter. One thing that Jamie said is that they are looking for turnkey. They're looking for a house to look and feel new and clean. The millennials are our buyers. And a lot of our sellers are the baby boomers. They're downsizing. You know, there's millions of us, and we're downsizing, moving into with family or assisted living, the senior baby boomers especially. And so these millennials are looking at the houses going, yeah, not so much. So the house has to look and feel good and clean and new and not outdated. And, you know, a lot of times people think they have to put so much money into preparing their house to list. But if you have a good professional stager, we can make and create that newness, that feel of being uncluttered and clean and turnkey without putting a whole lot of money into your house. And you don't have to do that in this market, but I do believe you have to stage. And I was saying in this quarter, I would say we've done at least 15 homes where they were great homes. The price was right, and they put them on the market, and crickets, nothing. Is the market softening? Yeah, somewhat, but the savvy agent would call me, and they said, you know, hey, our house is sitting on the market, don't understand it, no takers. And everybody else around me, you know, you're hearing all the success stories. You don't hear about these stories so much because no one's super proud of these. And so I go in, do a quick consultation, turn it around real quickly, do some staging only, clean up that clutter, or if it's vacant, define the rooms, add the mascara and the lipstick, make it pretty, and appealing to the millennial buyer. And every single house that I've done that with were taken off the market for a week. I came in and staged, put back on the market at the same price, and in some cases higher. And they all, 100% of them went under contract the first weekend, just like everyone else's, at well over asking, you know, that 10, 15, 20, up to, 30 grand over asking. And so it works, staging sells, and it's minimal investment compared to what you're going to get from it. Another quick note about it, Celeste, is that it's a proven fact that your house is going to appraise more if it's staged. The appraiser is human. He sees more value when it's got the nice furniture in it. He's a human being. He sees, he feels, you want your buyer to feel emotional about a house, and you want them to come out. So anyway, your house will appraise for more if it's staged, just bottom line.
Absolutely.
Never thought about that.
Jamie, do you have any comments to what she just said as a real estate agent?
Yeah, I mean, just so many times you walk into a house and buyers have a horrendous imagination. Now, I could walk into a house and I can see what it could be, but 95% of the people I bring through a house don't have that talent. And so they need to see it as it can be and as it is now. So if you're not doing certain things to your house, even in the hot market that we're in, there are certain exceptions to that. But for the most part, you want to have it. You need to have it cleaned. You need to have it have the rooms look proper, because it does generate more money. It generates more interest. Because here's the thing: think about what are people looking at the homes first? They're going on their phones, and you never have a second chance to make a first impression, right?
Absolutely.
So if you're not getting that first impression out proper to start with, that's going to be where your lack of traffic comes in on your house. Because I'll be honest with you, it doesn't matter how many houses I have my own systems and I provide my buyers with all stuff, but they're always out there looking on their own, always.
Yeah.
Always, constantly. I'm constantly getting links. Here, check this one out. Check this one out. Most of the time they're not accurate. Most of the time they're not even available, what they're sending me, but they're still out there. They're thinking that they're going to find something that I'm not sending them. And, they're always out there looking. But again, what are they looking? They're looking at what is jumping off the page at them. Okay. So a really well-staged home, and a home that's turnkey, is going to get you significantly more money than something that is not. And it's a really good investment for the homeowner. to get your house ready, because it's going to get you, especially in this market, that's going to get you significant amount of money and a significant amount more interest, to go ahead and do that.
Absolutely. And, Tracee, talking about staging and Jamie, from a real estate perspective, something my husband, Mike, and I have done in the last 60 days is we've been in our house 29 years. And we've just, last year we took care of the outside, did painting, all the upgrades and everything. This summer we've been taking care of all the upgrades inside with all painting and fresh carpet and flooring and everything. And we ended up, we had just lots of clutter. And so we started with having a shredding company come out here, and we had 40 of these bank boxes, Sarah, of files of tax returns and this or that, and had it all brought down from the attic up there and had it shred. I mean, 40 years of your life was gone in 15 minutes, but that's okay. We didn't need any of that stuff. And then we brought in a dumpster, and we took, I can't tell you how many carloads of stuff we took to charities. And then we brought in a dumpster because we're not going to have a yard sale. And we took in a 30-yard dumpster, about a fresh appeal in your house with all that stuff gone. Yeah, it's an amazing feeling, and to look around and to be able to open up a closet and just think, oh, I hope it doesn't fall out, or open up the cabinets in the living room with the bookcases, or wherever you just throw everything. So because when people are looking, they look. Do they not open up a closet or to look? So if it doesn't look like it's clean and fresh, so that's important. I'm going to ask the next question, Sarah, if you don't mind, is no Jamie, are we on the road to another crash crisis?
Are we on the road to another crash? So let's go over, I got to pick up a couple things. So are we on the road to another crash? That would be no. Okay, so why do I say that? Of course, what I just pulled up just disappeared on me. Why do I say that? So one, we don't have the same market conditions that we had back in 2006. And I say 2006, because really things kind of peaked in 2006 and kind of went downhill from there. Maybe not as fast downhill as 2008, but they started to slow down around 2006 and then started slowing down a little bit in 07, and then 08, we know what happened. So, okay, so we don't have the same bad lending practices. Okay, so let me just read over a couple of stuff. So causes of the last housing bubble: low down payments, flexible mortgage rates, and an oversupply. So from my own personal experience, that house that referenced earlier that I bought, and that kind of got me into real estate with my real estate agent, you realize I put $0 down on that house, no money down on the house, and I hadn't even sold my other house yet. I had a contract to rent my other house out. I didn't even sell it. And I think I did an 80-10-10 loan. So I put $0 down. Now I had the down payment. I had a full down payment on the house. We ended up finishing our basement instead of putting money down on the house. So I moved in January and finished the basement in February with the money I would have used for the down payment. But those were the kind of bad lending practices. Was I grateful they've gotten $0 down? Sure. And I was one of the few that was okay with that. But, so the bad lending practices. So, let's talk about inventory. So right now, we're about 1.16 million homes on the market right now in 2021 versus 4 million in July of 2007.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So the other thing we want to talk about, down payments are up. You're talking about 15.9% on average down versus 9% down in 2007. The other thing we want to talk about is during the housing crisis, America needs about 1 million homes a year to be built in order to keep up with the population demand, with the growth of population for the supply and demand. So during those 08, 9, 10, 11, 12, and probably even into parts of 13, we were at like 200,000 to 300,000 being built. And even right now, we're not at 1 million. Obviously, Corona has interrupted supply chain issues and so on and so forth. So all the market conditions, the lending restrictions are also much tighter. April foreclosures were 11,810 this year versus in March of 2008, 234,000. So again, you have to be super well qualified in order to get a loan right now. It is not easy to get a loan. The restrictions are much tighter on getting a loan, especially for those self-employed. Be careful. Listen to what Sara said. Make sure you don't write off too much. So the market conditions are not there. With that being said, are we going to see more foreclosures hit the market? It is likely. Okay, those moratoriums are going to be lifted up. Right now we're at, and I'm going to give you these ballpark figures. I don't have them sitting right in front of me, but you're only about 36% of all loans are government loans, and the rest of them are conventional loans. Well, those government loans will be protected by the government from getting foreclosed on. They will, but all the people, the other 60-something% who have conventional loans, they are not protected, by any kind of acts of the government. So are we likely to see some more foreclosures coming up in the next year or so? Probably. Is the government, even with everything, are they going to let a 2008 happen again? No.
Yeah.
You can see already what they're doing with stimuluses and all that kind of stuff. They're not going to let 2008 happen again. And then the climate is so much different. The reason we're seeing these prices is just really supply and demand of low interest rates. Now, if the interest rates pop up to like 4% or something, then you may see some kind of a slowdown, but I don't even think they're going to allow that to happen either, because they know that once that happens, then that's going to kill the economy. The other thing is, think about, and I'll wrap up with this, think about when I sell a house, on average, for every single house, just me, this is just me personally, that I sell, I think I counted it up, about 40 people, 40 different industries or people make money for every house that I sell. And so think about how many homes are sold every year in your area. Think of how many, 1 million people live in Gwinnett County alone, 7 million people live in roughly in the metro Atlanta area. So think of how many homes are sold and multiply that out times 40 different industries or people make money for every single one of those homes is being sold. Do you think the government is going to let that go away? Because if that goes away, we're all in a whole heap of trouble, because real estate drives the economy. If real estate slows down or stops, or there's some major disruption in real estate, that's a major disruption everywhere to every facet of the economy. So I hope that answers your question, but yeah, I don't think we're going to see that. There's so many different factors involved right now that are different than in 2008.
Very good. Thank you so much for those stats and everything, Jamie. Sara, why don't you talk to Tracee a little bit about some questions about our home staging, please?
Yeah, so Tracee, you stated before that if somebody stages a house, the appraiser usually gives it a better appraisal. What are some other financial reasons to stage a house?
Well, obviously you want to be able to sell your house at the best possible price. And, everybody does think that in this market, they're going to automatically get those higher offers. But again, there's no real estate agents out there bragging on, hey, we went under contract at lower than asking price. Nobody's bragging about that. You don't hear about that on social media or much of anywhere. And there are a lot of houses that are not getting what they could. And, again, I do have, there's two groups of the population that I really have a compassion for. And that is the senior baby boomer who has, spent a lifetime in this home, and it's their home and they love it, and it's their retirement, it's their little nest egg. And don't we want them to get the very best price for their home during this economy when they can? And you've got the millennials coming in with buying these homes, and they've got their whole lives to live to be able to save for their retirement, and hopefully they're doing that. And so really for these baby boomers, these senior baby boomers, we want them to get the very best price for their money. And typically they're the ones that they might have wallpaper in their house. They might have, they don't have the upgraded granite and all of that. And so how can they save money? So some real estate agents come in and say, well, here's the list of things that you have to do, and it might cost them, $10,000, $15,000 to do all those things. Celeste, you talked about you're doing those things to your home. Well, you're not doing it to sell. You're doing it because it's time for that upgrade for you, and you want to live in that. And maybe you are. I see a little smirk. Who knows? But you've got that to be able to do it. A lot of the baby boomers don't, and so to be able to come in and also they're in such overwhelm, Sara. They're having to move in many cases where they don't really want to, but they know they have to. Their family's kind of prodding them to do that. So to have someone like me come in and help them through that process, because I'm much more than just a home stager. And I think most of us feel that same way. When I'm helping to stage an occupied home like that, I sit at the kitchen table with them and talk to them about their memories as we're boxing things up, as we're preparing their home. And it really softens the blow. It's an outsider. It's not a family member. So, I can help them through that process. And I don't know if this is quite answering your question, because you asked about the financial, but a lot of times I'll go to a consultation and they'll say, I don't have the money to paint my house. I don't have the money to remove this wallpaper. I don't have the money to do this. I said, but I say, well, let's create the wow factor in your home so the millennial buyer will walk in and they won't notice those negative things. They'll see it. I have a way of a technique of creating, that retro look. If the house is old-fashioned, well, let's put some retro items in there. Let's make it funky and fun for the new buyer. And it works every time. I had a great client. Her name is Betsy. She lived in a condo in Roswell, and she was in her late 70s and having to move in with family members for health reasons. And when I met with her, she was just distraught. And honestly, all the condos around her, they had new granite that have been sold. They had showers, all the new tile work, and everything was upgraded. And she felt so bad because she knew her house was not going to sell as high as those others. And she was feeling pressure even from her neighbors that she didn't have, because it affects the comps, right?
Right.
So I said, you know what, Betsy, we're going to make this house gorgeous. And we did. And we staged her house the right way. And I am proud to say that Betsy went under contract the first weekend at $6,000 over asking. And she was the highest sold in the neighborhood in that condominium. And she didn't need those upgrades. Yay. And that's a win for me. I love being able to do that. And then just real briefly, same thing with investors. Woo, us flippers, we're rolling in the dough. Let me tell you, you're lucky if it goes well. There's contractor issues. There's always foundation. There's always something. And the same with those investors. Let's stage those houses so that they pop, they appraise right, and the millennial buyer is not going to notice those little negative features. They're going to fall in love with the house.
That's great information. Because, we just sold my father's house, and it's 30 some years old, and it had wallpaper, and it had this, and it needed things. But the real estate agent that he hired was awesome. She took care of things, and he made his upper limit that he's not going to be taxed, but so it all worked out, right? But there's the illusion to what you're trying to do, right?
Yeah, I mean, good. A good stager will, the buyer's eye will, and Jamie's right. You want to maximize the positive attributes of the house, and you want to just minimalize those things that maybe might need some upgrading. And if you can get the buyer's eye focused on those things, and a creative, good stager can do that, then see, they walk in the front door and they drive up and they fall in love with the house. Because I work on the outside of the house too. Sometimes just a coat of paint on the front door will make a huge difference. Putting a little color out there, so that wow factor, so they feel good about it when they drive up. And then when they open that door, if I can create the wow factor, they're going to, people do buy emotionally, especially us women. And when we fall in love with the house and see, you know, if we can create that wow factor, it's all about how the house makes you feel. And it might not necessarily be the house that has the most upgrades. It might be the one that, you know, and I always try to put something fun and memorable in the house that, you know, they can think about, oh, I want that house with that cool coffee bar, or, you know, so.
Yeah, those are great ideas. Thank you.
You know, Sarah, something that I've been listening here today, Sarah, is that, you know, in the real estate market, whether you're buying, selling, you know, a couple of things, you got to do your due diligence and educate yourself with the right realtor.
Yeah.
You know, Jamie, you've been very informative. You've had your stats. I mean, you've given us all kinds of great information. You've done it in a positive way with enthusiasm. And you know, without a shadow of a doubt, Jamie, you know, you've won the trust factor because you have educated the market. You know, you've educated our community here today. The other thing is with Tracee, you know, when you're selling a house, you want to do your due diligence with your real estate agent. You just don't want to pick every Tom, Dick, or Harry. I mean, really, you need to do the due diligence. And then somebody like Tracee as a home stager, you know, again, if you're going out and you want to get the highest price for your house, you know, you're going to have to invest. Now people are making an exuberant amount of money on their homes. So what is a, you know, I don't want to say a few dollars, but there's nothing wrong with investing X amount of dollars in a home stager to get that wow factor, as Tracee said. And you want to find a home stager, a couple of things. I mean, Tracee's very personable. She's passionate. Listening to her today, she's passionate. She's personable. And you could tell that, you know, she takes an interest in what she does, that she's just not doing this for the money. She's doing it because she loves what she does. And it's like a challenge, is it not, Tracee or Jamie? It's a challenge to you. And you want to be the top builder, and I mean bidder, where, you know, all the other bids come down and they chose your bid right there. I mean, what a feeling that is to know that, you know, your bid was taken. So I think that's very, very positive for our audience. Jamie, what's the craziest thing you saw when showing homes?
I don't know.
Keep it G rated, please.
I'm going to share with you what I shared with you pre-show. Is that G rated enough, or no? Not really.
No, not really.
Yeah. Tell me what that was offline. Okay. You know, I think I went to go show like a house to an investor, and it was literally like I probably had trash and stuff up to my knee of stuff inside that, and the smell and the another time during that like 10 and 11, because remember I started real estate in 2007, so everything was a foreclosure when I started, and I sold a lot of HUD homes, lots and lots of HUD homes, and some of these homes were just wow. I remember going in one in Smyrna, and it was a really, really beautiful neighborhood. What was probably like a $400,000 neighborhood, $500,000 neighborhood now. I don't remember how much the house was, but there was dog feces all.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. Well,
Not only that, but there was like a bar on the door, and so we're talking a 2-story house with a basement. So you know how you can imagine how high up the deck was. The deck was gone, like gone. There was no deck. There were holes in the wall. They were just people would just trash the house.
well, yeah, back in that market, the foreclosure, that was a sad time for the economy.
That is some of the, you know, some of the saddest, craziest stuff that we've seen. I mean, you know, sometimes I've been a couple of times where I was showing houses and they forgot I was coming. And there was one day I went in to go show a house and the guy was popping out of the shower. I didn't see anything, but you know, you just never know what's going to happen. You know, always ring the doorbell, always knock on the door, always yell inside the house when you go into the house. And so, but yeah, this has been some of the craziest things. And when you list a property, you know, I was like, oh, we've got so much stuff. I said, trust me, I've seen everything. I've seen anything and everything. It doesn't matter if your house is cluttered. It doesn't matter what it looks like right now. I don't care. I'm not the buyer. I'm the real estate agent. My job is to see your house as if a buyer is going to see it if we do X, Y, and Z, and then help you get to that point.
Very, very good. Sarah, do you have some more questions, please?
Yeah, so Tracee, what have you seen change in the market in the last 90 days? Is it strong or is it softening? And I think both of you alluded to that answer, but what have you seen change in the last 90 days?
Well, Jamie was spot on with the statistics, and I so appreciate that. One of the reasons I am not a real estate agent is because I don't want to know all that stuff that Jamie knows. I just want to make houses pretty, okay? I just want to put on the lipstick and the mascara. That's what I want to do. And you're right, Celeste. I do it because I love it, because the job of a home stager is much more difficult than people think. It is very time consuming to do it right. But I have seen a little bit of softening in the market, Sarah, with, and I think Jamie alluded to this, in homes above even 350, 400,000 and above. Definitely a little bit longer sitting on the market. You know, my staging is, you know, I put in a stage, and then I typically call on, if we put in a stage on Friday and they list on Friday, I typically call on Wednesday and go, are we under contract? And when's the closing? And I've noticed that, you know, we're not under contract quite as quickly for the upper end homes, but I mean, they're still going under contract, and everything Jamie said is spot on. It's a very fun time to be a part of real estate. I will say that I am noticing a lot of investors buying for buy and hold. They are buying all over Atlanta in every price range, because the rental market is just like there's not enough houses for people to buy. There's absolutely a waiting list of 90 days and more for people to rent. So that is a struggle. So the investors are buying these houses that's something that I'm really seeing more and more. But guess what? I'm also staging a lot of houses that they plan on renting as well, because I've been doing that, and I didn't, you know, they would just call me and I would stage it, and I'm assuming they're going to sell it, and then they are actually asking for staging in the rental market as well, because guess what? It looks nicer. It's going to rent for more. And, you know, it is what it is. But those are some of the things I'm seeing a lot with the rental market.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Sarah, with that rental market like that, and what Tracee is saying, you know, Jamie, a lot of people put their house on the market when this thing exploded to get a lot of money out of their house, and they went and rented someplace to get the added plus of the money in their house. True?
That's right.
True. That is true.
And so they're going to be looking, and what they're doing is they're renting, waiting for the market to come down.
Yes.
to find the best deal, but they still made a hefty profit on their house today.
I have got news for you, Celeste. They're just going to keep waiting. Atlanta is projected, these are from people way smarter than me, on a very, very, very good study with really smart economists. We're projected to go up another 18% in 2022.
Well,
Wow.
the Jamie, I love what you said about the mortgage rates, because most consumers just think about, oh, I can't afford a $400,000 house. But what you said is so important, and that's why that education and having an experienced real estate agent is so hugely important. And oh my gosh, please don't try to for sale by owner if you're watching this. It's you know, a lot of people think, oh, Jamie, you talked about, you know, the commissions and how awesome they were as a real estate agent. Well, you're a professional. You earn what you earn because you help people with their largest asset that they'll most likely ever own, and the most important asset that they'll ever own for most people. And so it's so important that you hire a professional like Jamie that can explain those things to you. So yeah, if you sold your house and you're renting and you're waiting for the market to go down, you better go talk to Jamie, because he needs to sell you a house right now.
I'll touch on what you just said, Tracee. I want you to think about it. when you work with somebody like me, I'm working on commission. I don't get paid until you sell your house. You want to sell it on your own, guess what? You're going to pay an attorney by the hour.
Yeah.
It's like the amount of hours. And if you have no idea if it falls apart, I can't tell you what the kind of messes that we have to clean up. Like, we fix people's problems. I won't even go into it, but people don't know what happens behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That we don't even tell our clients that we're doing.
Right.
There's so much extra stuff. There's a safety and security issue right now with for sale by owners. You don't know. I mean, your house could be online. Who do you know who's calling you? If they're not with a real estate agent, you don't know if they're qualified. You don't even know if they're real. They could be a stalker. They could be. In National Association of Realtors stats say that homes that are listed by a realtor sold on average for 11% higher than those listed for sale by owner. Well, let's hypothetically say an average commission is 6% on average, give or take. Well, isn't getting 11% higher and paying a 6% commission, aren't you still 5% ahead?
Absolutely.
You know?
Well, Jamie, some economists say that it's 2 to 5% decrease in the market. Others are expecting 10%, and it will more than likely be very temporarily if it happens at all. And to always remember that what the market does today, the overall trend is always going to be up.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got about 9 minutes left in the show here. So we have maybe 1 or 2 more questions, Sarah. We probably have time. But what I'd like to do is, Jamie, please tell our audience how they could get a hold of you, your name, phone number, email address, anything that you would like to give to our WCEG Talk Radio community.
Sounds good. Well, let me tell you, folks, when you call me, you actually call me. So you're not getting somebody else. This is my cell phone number. Yes, my cell phone number. Blow me up. This is not, you're not going to get routed to a junior agent or something like that. 404-483-7816. That's 404-483-7816. You can also go to my website, www.rockinagent.com. So www.rockinagent.com. You can find me on Facebook at Facebook/Rockin' Agent. You can find me on Instagram at Jamie Parker Realtor. Follow me on there. And if you need to email me, you could Jamie, JAMIE.Parker, PARKER @EXPRealty.com. You can reach me at any of those channels. I am very responsive, especially if you send me a text message. That cell phone is probably the quickest way to get me. I'd be happy to help you in any way I can, even if you just have a question, even if you don't want to buy or sell your house. We're here to educate people and help people.
Absolutely. And Jamie, we also, for our listeners and audience and on the Facebook page where we're live streaming in YouTube, this information is in the chat there. It's online, so you can go there. Tracee, would you go ahead and tell us a little bit about how our audience, our listeners can reach you, please?
Sure. The fastest way to reach me, just like Jamie, is to text me first and just, let's start a conversation. I am very active out in the field all the time, and I don't like sitting around. So I'm either driving or moving furniture or, so text me first and I will set a time to talk. And I'm very responsive to texts, and then I love to, have a conversation about how I can help you. And my number is 770-453-2510. Would love for you to go to my Facebook page, which is at Tracee Randall Real Estate. And there I show, some before and after pictures, but also my property overseeing, my before and after flips, and the things I'm doing with other investors along the way. So, and I definitely would love for you to like my page. Let's increase that number of likes. And then, my email address is Tracee@TraceeRandall.com. Notice the 2 E's in Tracee. And, but, don't email me first. Let's text, have a conversation. You can private message me on Facebook. I'm pretty responsive there as well. But I don't respond back unless you've liked my page.
I like that. Very good. Well, Sarah, this has been an awesome welcome back radio show today. I mean, Jamie and Tracee, I think you guys did a grand grand slam today on the past, present, and future of real estate. And again, I cannot say enough good things about each of you, the knowledge and being prepared. We can tell how passionate both of you are about your business. And, if the customer today looking at this Facebook Live or YouTube channel cannot feel your passion to really help and serve. And as a business coach, that's what people want. They want somebody that's going to help and serve them first. And, neither one of you are about yourself. It was all about helping and serving other people first. Don't you agree, Sarah?
Oh, absolutely. And how they complimented each other, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, they were good. They would uplift each other and agree and support each other. And that's amazing today.
Absolutely. Now we have about 5 minutes left, and Sarah and I need about half of that time to close this out. So in closing here, in about 30 seconds, Jamie, tell me, what is one key takeaway that you think you would like for our audience to take away today?
It is a great time to buy, sell, or invest. Don't listen to the media. Don't listen to the news reports. Don't listen to those doomsday people. It is a great time. Are you going to miss the boat? Okay, Jim Rohn has a famous quote: discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. Are you going to be the one who had paralysis by overanalysis because you were listening to the wrong people? Take advantage of what's going on right here. Ask Tracee, are you investing right now, Tracee?
Oh, yeah.
Am I investing right now? Yes, I am. Okay, so if we're doing it and we're in the industry, what should you be doing? So that is my
very good. That's
and Tracee?
Very good. Tracee, how about you?
I had something profound to say. Well, and I got so engaged with what Jamie was saying, I forgot what I wanted to say. My takeaway would be is that if you do decide to sell your home, then home stagers can work with any real estate agent, or they can work with any homeowner. So if you have a real estate agent and they haven't talked to you about staging your home or the value of that, you can always say, hey, I'd like for you to talk to Tracee. And a lot of real estate agents honestly do not understand the value of staging. So as the homeowner, I've had a lot of homeowners be the ones to connect me with their agent, and I can educate the agent on the value of staging. So you don't have to use the home stager that your agent brings to the table necessarily. Although I do understand an agent being loyal to the stager they're working with, but you want to make sure it's the right fit for you.
Absolutely. And that's a great point, Tracee, because as a business coach, I have coached several real estate agents. I have even coached several home stagers before. And I can tell you that I would definitely want a real estate agent that did use a home stager, and you don't have to go through a real estate agent to have a home stager. So right. That is a good point right there. We'd like to thank both of you for being on the show. Yes. Sarah, I would like for us to take the last 2 minutes and talk about what we have coming up here in the fall. On September 28th, we are bringing back Sharita Oglesby with the nonprofit. She's the grant writing queen, and we're going to talk about 10X in your nonprofit. So Jamie, you need to make sure you pay attention to this. Sharita is the best when it comes to grant writing as well as working with nonprofits. In October, Sarah, we're on October 12th, we're going to be doing a networking series again. We have Joan Williams, who's coming on as the president of the Kiwanis group in Beaufort. And then we have a couple of other networking groups that are going to be on the show with us. So we're going to be talking about all things networking, and any questions you have about networking, please, send them in to us. On the 26th of October, we have Bonnie Dobbs on Medicare. We all know what's happening at this time of the year, and Bonnie is a reoccurring person, so she will be on the show. November 9th, we have Doris Gibbons with American Family Insurance. And on the 16th of November, we have Camp Amplify and Home of Hope, our dear friend Maureen. And December 7th, you've got Sarah and Celeste Giordano. And we're going to tell you everything you need to do to finish 2021 strong and to roll into 2022 on top of the world. Thank you, Tracee and Jamie. Sara, so glad to see you. Glad to have you back.
Glad to
And
be back.
we look forward to seeing you all and being a part of this for the rest of the year.
Thanks so much for having us.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
It's a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Penny.
WCEG Network. Thank you, Penny. Bye-bye.
Bye.